Rapid prototyping is a secret tool that you're probably not using. I want to spend a few minutes talking about it, and I think you're going to see why it could be a really cool tool to use in your studio practice. So let's get into it. So rapid prototyping is a concept of design that is used a lot in industrial and in software applications. And what it really comes down to is making what you're making in some kind of cheap, inexpensive, or low fidelity way as fast as possible, so you can kind of work all the kinks out of it before you spend the real money building and developing it. You know, a great example are people who they have this great idea for something and they go and they build it right away and it's not quite what they want. And they're like, oh, well, that kind of isn't as good as I thought it would be. And they abandon it. That happens all the time. What rapid prototyping lets you do, you have that great idea and you develop the idea, and then you take it to people on the industrial side. You might take it to users, and you might take it to kind of salespeople. Is it getting all the bells and whistles in that we need? Does the interface look right to people? Everyone kind of gives their thing. We can make some changes. After you make those changes, you look at it again, you go, okay, this is right. And you're probably saying to yourself right off the top of this, I'm a fine artist, I'm not an industrial designer, what does this have to do with me? Well, here's what it has to do with you. You can take these principles, take these ideas, and apply them in your studio practice. Here's a great example. You have this really great idea and you're really excited to do it. So you run to the studio and maybe you stretch a canvas and you gesso it and you get ready and then you make the painting, and the painting is not quite as good as what you thought it might be. Well, why is that? I don't know. But I'm going to guess is because you haven't really mapped out the idea fully. And this is where the concepts behind rapid prototyping can come into play. Now here's the deal. I call it rapid prototyping. You can call it Bob for all I care. It's just a concept and a way to work. It's kind of a framework of the early workings of your work. So you have an idea, you have a concept, and you kind of you start off with a drawing, right? Like a lot of folks, you start off with a very quick sketch. Maybe you do this time a little bit more than a sketch, a little bit less than a drawing, you know, kind of just a nice sketch. You do that, and then maybe you look at it and you go, you know what I could do? I could do 8 or 10 of these, kind of approaching this idea. So you do 8 or 10 sketches of this idea. Maybe it changes color wash, maybe it changes subject, maybe it does a number of different things. All of that's great. But what's really happening here is that you're exploring that concept fully. Okay, so you've done 10 drawings, let's say. 10's a pretty good number. You've done the 10 drawings, and you look at them and say, you know, 2 of these are kind of not so good. You chuck those out. Very possibly it's your first one. It's one of the 2 that you throw out, because the very first time you're still kind of figuring it out a little bit. But now you've got 8 ideas that are sitting right in front of you. You can take those 8 ideas and you can probably even generate 2 or 3 more ideas out of each of those ideas. That's not bad. Now remember, let's say you're doing something really kind of simple like a still life or something like that. Now granted, doing the same still life 24 times if you've got 8 times 3 is a lot of the same still life. But you start changing things. You put in a different this, a different that, different sunlight hits it, what have you. But what you suddenly then have are, like I said, 26 pieces of art that are very different, but they're a cohesive whole, and they all kind of follow the same concept. You know, a lot of people would call that, they'd call that a show, right? So you've got 28 drawings that could literally turn into a show in a minute, right? Great. You've taken one idea and you've developed it into almost 30 things. That's really exciting. If you're a sculptor, you can do it the same way. You can build little maquettes out of like cardboard, masking tape, and hot glue, or whatever it is you want to use. I don't care. I'm not a sculptor. Well, I do a little sculpture, but I'm not you. You do your work your way. But you build lots of small ideas from it, and you take those small ideas and you really make them into ideas that kind of relate to each other. Maybe one does this and the other one kind of does it the opposite way, or maybe one gets tall and skinny, whatever it might be. But you're generating the ideas out of it. And the more you generate those ideas out of that concept, the ideas should get better and better, or at least different, right? So you start from one place and you end in the other. Have you ever seen that Picasso drawing where he's like starts with a picture of a bowl, and the end of the 8 or 10 drawings, the bowl is like 3 lines and it's over, but it's still a bowl and it looks really great? It's the way it works. Take your concepts, and work your concepts. Do the work. Here's a great example. Richard Serra. Richard Serra is a sculptor who I love. He had a show at Dia Beacon, which I, of course, missed, 2014 or 15, I want to say. And it was maquettes of his torqued ellipses. The torqued ellipses are those big steel things he makes. They're about 14 to 16 feet tall, sometimes even taller than that. They're made out of like 2-inch thick Corten steel. They're round and they kind of lean over and they kind of lean this way, and they create spaces that push in and push out. Well, they basically showed a bunch of maquettes of that work. And those maquettes have like notes and details drawn all over them because they were studio tools. And that's what you're making here. You're making studio tools as quickly as you can. You're getting rid of bad ideas, you're embracing good ideas, and it's helping you build both better work, better ideas, and doing it quickly. Here's a little thing about this kind of rapid prototyping process. You don't do it every day. You might do it once a month. You might do it once every 6 months. You do it when you've got a new concept and you want to explore that concept. So it's not a daily thing that you do. This kind of idea, this developing ideas very quickly, or rapid prototyping as we say, I think can be a super powerful tool in people's studios. And I think it's something you should probably look into and even try. Some of you are thinking, I have a sketchbook. I do sketches in my sketchbook. You do. And God bless you, and you should keep doing those. But here's the thing I've got to ask you, and I'm going to ask you really honestly about this. Do you do a sketch in your sketchbook and then take the next 10 pages and develop that sketch different ways each time you do it? I'm betting you don't. And that's okay. It's just a different way of working. Doesn't have to be done in your sketchbook. In fact, I think some people work in their sketchbooks too much when they should be making drawings that they can pin on the wall and step back and take a look at. That's another video for another day. Trust me, that one's going to happen. So that's where it's at. This idea of taking ideas, generating them out really fast, and then moving into the next one, it's a really powerful tool. It's a powerful tool that will make you a better artist and make your ideas stronger. It's a win-win on both sides of it. Anyhow, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for putting up with me and listening to me. If you've got concepts or ideas you want to talk about this, please throw them in the comments below. I'm happy to respond to them. I always do. Like and subscribe if you can. I'll see you next time. Thanks again.